Make sure everybody can hear me. So like it started up on their end. So let's see, go start up on this end. Good evening, everybody. Let me know you can hear me. I know people talking about my mic too low and all this. So somebody in the chat room give me a mic check, please. Let me know you can hear me.
Working good. We got you.
All right. Oh, not y'all on the panel. I'm talking to people in the chat room. Not y'all. Not y'all on the panel. The people in the chat room. All right, everybody can hear me loud and clear. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. As I told y'all, I was going to do this show, but I didn't have a date set up. But here we are tonight to talk about this. Y'all know I've been covering this story about the two boys missing in California. We all are praying that these boys be found, hopefully alive. But who knows what's to say or what's going to happen about these boys. But however, though, doing these stories and their story, we keep hearing about the Child Protective Services, and I seen a lot of y'all in the chat room was speaking on the Child Protective Services and your issues with the Child Protective Services. Now, here's how I'm gonna do this right here, and I don't know why this thing is not changing. Hold on, guys. There we go. All right. Yeah, I see a lot of y'all speak on y'all issues about the children services and whatnot. But here's how we're gonna do this here. Somebody gave me a good idea. Anybody who want to speak on the services, you can speak on it, or if you had a bad experience, a good experience, or indifference, or even if you are a foster parent yourself, I welcome anybody to come on the platform and speak on your experience with the social services or child protective services, or however you want to call it. You know, I want anybody to come over here and share your experiences, because I know just as well as you got bad, you got some good in it as well. So anybody who wants to come up and join and speak on your experience on this, I will put my email in the chat room, and send me an email, and I will send you a link so you could join me and the rest of the people who's on the panel to speak on their experience of dealing with child protective services. Now, I also want to get one thing straight too. I'm not here to try to bash the protective service or anything like that, because I don't have any children, so I don't know. But these people who you see on here have had dealings with Children Protective Services, and so far so good. It ain't been good from what I'm hearing. So the first person I'm going to bring up right now is my man Jerry. I spoke to Jerry once. Let me see if I can put you in the solo layer. Yes, I can. And we're going to let Jerry talk for a minute. And after Jerry, we're going to go on to my man Eric, and so on and so on. Jerry, welcome back to the show. How you doing, brother?
All right, good evening. Thank you very much.
Hey, not a problem.
May God bless everybody.
Not a problem, man.
All right.
Thank you for joining the show. So go ahead. Me, you already talked once, man. You can start back from where we talked last time, or you just speak on where we left off at, man. You know, go ahead, brother. Let's not try to take too much time, because be mindful, we got a lot of people. We got people waiting to talk. But go ahead, brother. Well, you breaking up. You breaking up real bad. Yeah, you breaking up real bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's like you going in and out, and your video has frozen. So I tell you what, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Try to jump down and come back on. I'm gonna let my man Eric come on in. Eric, can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, I got you, man. How you doing this evening, man?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. Hey, sorry it took so long for me to get to this show, brother, but I'm going to give you the flow and let you share what you want to share. Jerry, do me a favor and mute yourself out, man. And I'll try to bring you back in. So, yeah, mute yourself out for me. You still kind of breaking up and freezing up a little bit, but I'll try to come back to you and see how it works. Okay, just mute yourself for a minute. Let me see if I can do it for you. Go ahead, Eric. You got it. Go ahead, Eric, man. Good evening. What you want to share with me, brother?
Well, basically, with our experience, mine and my wife Candace right here, our experience has been nothing but extremely negative. We feel that Child Protective Services, along with DCFS and all the other affiliates, definitely need to be restructured. There is absolutely no checks and balances whatsoever. Basically, with our story, me and my wife was having a real bad toothache, and she was probably a couple weeks postpartum. So she's still going through postpartum, and hormones can be up and down. And because we're toothache, we got in a little verbal altercation in a doctor's office. Well, being that they're mandated reporters, we're not sure exactly what this nurse was on that day, but she decided to call to do a well-being check on our son, even though our son was not even pregnant that morning at the doctor's office. And so we went to work that day. Now, when we got back, DCFS investigator showed up to our house. She was asking some questions. She basically broke our civil rights. She just helped herself inside of our house without anyone's permission. No warrants or anything. And then when we got the body cam footage via FOIA Act, it proves all this stuff. She basically lied about everything, and it was her intentions from the beginning to take our son over a hearsay phone call, which, according to their rules, is it's against their rules, policies, and procedures. If you look that up on their website. When we went to court, we didn't have the opportunity to talk. They basically took our kid and put him directly into foster care instead of with family. Now, mind you, at the time, he was only 4 months old. He's now 10 months old and still in foster care. The subcontractor, if you will, for DCFS that we're dealing with basically keeps saying that they have no control over where the kid goes. They repeatedly tell us, that they're doing background checks on our families. They're repeatedly telling us a bunch of stuff which is not happening. They keep changing things, like in the beginning we were supposed to do well, for one, we went for a random drop so we can do their 5-day safety plan, and we complied with that. We came back clean, but yet they said that we failed the drug test. We have proof that it did come back clean, and they're using past problems against us as reasons to take our child away, such as we are a newer relationship, and her previous relationship, she dealt with violent or domestics. So we did have a heated argument back in December, which was almost 4 months before.
Now, when you say we had a heated discussion, who are you speaking of? Your wife?
Yeah, me and my wife.
Okay.
And that was about 4 months before our child was born. And due to her past domestics, twice, she had 2 altercations with 2 different males in the past. She decided that it'd be best to call the police just in case, which I was like, that's fine. You have every right to do so. I'm not stopping you. I want you to feel safe. I'm not going to do nothing. As it turned out, nothing happened. But the thing is, if someone calls the police, it goes down as a domestic disturbance regardless. Well, they use that against us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they're using all this stuff from the past that has nothing to do with anything that happened after our child was conceived or born, per se. And they think that's okay. But in their rules and regulations, it's against that. They're not allowed to do that.
You know, it's amazing that you're saying that, because I just had somebody on my platform a couple of days ago, and she said that, you know, when it comes to them, they will go back on you. They'll go back as far as almost to your teenage years and try to pin them on you. So it's kind of funny you bringing it up, man. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're doing it. And, you know, I don't understand. And this investigator they're dealing with, she has only worked for DCFS for 2 years at the time. And she's already clearing $112,000 a year when there has been other investigators, according to their website, that have been there 5, 10, 15 years that are only clearing $50K a year. So that's got to tell you something. I mean, what that tells me is that she's deliberately kidnapping these children to get bonuses, to get paid. It's almost like the more kids that they take, the higher their pay is per year.
Now, this is in Illinois, right? You in Illinois, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Antoinette, I spoke with her. Her case in Illinois, and sound like she went through the same thing. But let me ask you this: you said y'all did the drug test. Y'all got proof it came back clean, but now they said it came back dirty.
Yeah.
So have you tried to present them with the clean test? And if you did, what happened?
We haven't gotten that far yet. I'm saving that for trial to shove it in their face. I mean, they're I'm trying to let them dig themselves a hole. But regardless, you know, they say these programs or this program's all about the children. But if you ask me, this hurts the kids more than anything. I mean, granted, just like I told you during the email, this kid, our son, gave me something to get out of bed for. And ever since he was taken, I basically cry almost every day, and I cry myself to sleep because I love him so much and I miss him dearly. I mean, my wife's the same way.
Right.
But that's okay. The problem is our son, if you look at pictures before he was taken, he had, you know, ear-to-ear grins, huge smiles, just a happy baby. And now it's hard to get him to smile. If he smiles, it's half a smile. It's a little smirk. You know, he's just not happy. He has a hard time remembering us.
Eric, tell me about when we first communicated. You said everything was fine when y'all had the child, but now the child's in foster care. His posture kind of messed up, and there was a couple other things you were telling me that's messed up on him too, man. Kind of explain it to the people, tell them what's going on with that. And Jerry, I might have to give you my phone number, man, because it seems like it's still messing up on your end. So I'll probably shoot you my phone number. You just call in on the phone, man.
Yeah. So
okay.
All right.
So basically, with his posture or whatnot, it first started. I went back up. It first started 10 days after my son was taken. I went for a visit, and on the right side of his face, he had a scratch from his eye all the way down. He had a little tiny baby tooth that came in that was missing out of his mouth, and his eye was swollen, like he was possibly dropped on his face or smacked or something, and DCFS played it off. They don't pay. They didn't take no pictures or anything. Um, we went through a bout with a diaper rash so bad that he had blisters on the inside of his butt crack on both sides.
Wow. Wow.
You know, they don't, and they didn't care about the worker that we're dealing with. All she says is, well, I see the child once a month and he seems to be healthy and doing fine. And I also brought up the fact that he's real sluggish. He's slow to get going. When he shows up for the visit, we get one visit a week, which is 2 hours long. It takes about an hour and a half for him to fully, wake up. Like he's almost like he's being drugged with something. Well, come to find out, the foster family tried to say that we poisoned our child with a bottle. They had the foster father's a firefighter and took a bottle to their lab. Basically came up with all this stuff, and one was a benzo. One of the drugs was a benzo in there. And there's erectile dysfunction medication in there, an asthma medication in there. The only reason why I'm not in prison right now for poisoning my son is because I live in a different county than where my son is at and where that fire department is. And that bottle was transferred to the sheriff's department in the county where I live. And when they tested that bottle, it tested negative for all the stuff that they were claiming was in that bottle originally. So
I have a question in the chat room. One question is, somebody asked, do y'all have a lawyer?
No, we don't. We can't afford one because of COVID.
Wow. Okay. Well, then somebody else said Jamie, which I think she's a foster mom or was a foster mom. She said y'all should be able to request doctor reports. They say fosters are required to take a child to doctor or we for any injury. So any doctor reports or anything y'all gotten for y'all child?
No, and they will not show us any reports. That poisoning incident, we didn't find out until almost 5 days later that he went for poisoning, which then they decided to open up another DCFS investigation on us for it. They didn't they didn't do anything to the foster family. I was telling them, I want them drug tested. I want my son drug tested. I don't care if you have to pull blood, hair, urine, anything to get a drug test done on my child to see what they are giving him, because when he was with us, he was sleeping 4 hours. He'd get up for an hour, feed, go to the bathroom, sleep another couple hours, get up. Well, we found out that right after he went into foster care, he was sleeping 12 to 14 hours straight, on top of 1 or 2 to 3 hour naps during the day. That's not normal, okay? A child does not just jump from that little bit of sleep to that extreme amount of sleep where he's sleeping 15 hours a day, okay? So, and this leads me to the whole posture thing and the hair. Is our son wasn't progressing with crawling and other activities too fast. He was really slow. There's been a couple weeks at a time where he wouldn't progress at all.
And during this time, we had our ACR, and the foster parent was on there, and she even said that our son was slow, and he might need a special doctor. Which also then we looked into it, and then they receive an extra $140 a month, I believe, for that.
How much? How much?
About $140 a month for special education. if the child is mentally slow and needs an extra bit of help.
Which I don't know how you can determine that at 9 months.
Right. But I brought that up, and I said, when I heard that, and and over that course of time, I noticed that I used to be a carpenter. I had a straight posture. As a weightlifter, my posture was straight. It was normal. Then I changed careers to heavy equipment operating. So I would sit for anywhere between 8 and 18 hours a day. Well, just like trucker's posture, you start to bend forward at the waist when you're standing up straight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed that at all with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I noticed that with our son, that he was doing that. No matter how you'd straighten him up, he'd always lean forward a little bit. And on top of that, there was on the back of his head, right where it bumps out in the back, like upper middle, his hair was really wiry, really thin and short. It's like it was not growing, but the rest of his hair was growing fine. It was thick. The top of his hair was 3-4 inches. The side was growing properly. His hair was full, thick. So that leads me to believe that he was spending 23 hours in some kind of a chair, and 1 hour to do whatever, if that, take a bath, feed, whatever. And on top of that, when we did feed him at the visit, that kid ate for at least an hour straight, like he's never eaten anything in his life. I mean, he would shove so much food in his mouth that he gets sick and start throwing up.
So with that, that's an indication that you don't think he may be getting enough to eat.
And he's almost food aggressive now too. So like when I have some food, he's almost like grabbing it, like he hasn't seen it.
Wow. We got a question. Somebody asked a question. Is there any way that y'all can keep y'all on regular notes of what the child is doing? Or are they giving you any progress reports of how the child is doing, or what? Do y'all have anything that they trying to get y'all to let y'all know that at least the child is okay, or y'all just left out there with just dead air?
We basically have to take their word, and we have to write down in our notebook. And, we basically have to
bring it to our lawyer, if anything.
Well, yeah, but we got to document it, what we see or whatnot.
Okay. You say y'all can't afford a lawyer, or they trying to appoint y'all a lawyer? What's going on there? Jerry, just start coming up, man. I'll give you my number in a minute. If we drop you off again, just start coming up. I'll give you my number. You can come on in that way, brother. So if it drops you off again, don't worry about it. I give you a number. Just call in front of the number, because it keeps messing up the program. We're not messing up the program, but I'm trying to get everybody to pay attention to him, what he's saying. So if it drops you out again, brother, don't worry about getting back on. I give you my number, and I'll bring you in that way. All right? All right. Now go ahead, man. Sorry there. What you were saying now, brother? I was asking you about the lawyer situation. Now, your wife just said lawyer, so who was she speaking of? She said lawyer. Or did y'all have a lawyer at first? Y'all lost the person, or what happened?
We have a public pretender, if you will.
Okay.
They don't really like to do much. If anything, it's sad. I mean, I think they actually make it worse in a way. And due to COVID, we cannot afford an actual attorney. And from what I've noticed, asking around and talking to attorneys, they're almost like they're all in the same ring. It's just a money ring. Like they did to my mother. This attorney basically charged my mom $5,000 so she can attempt to get guardianship of my son to get him out of foster care. And basically, she was in juvenile court, and the other one was in probate court, and they didn't want to step on each other's toes, so they wouldn't overrule the other one. And at the end, the attorney said, well, there's really nothing I can do anyway. So at this point, if I do anything further, it's going to 100% ruin the chance of you possibly getting guardianship of this kid. So you might as well just leave it at that. You know, instead of saying, well, I can't do nothing about it, just be a waste of money, you know. So, and a lot of attorneys, just by what they say and what I hear, they're in the same circle, like, it's just all money. But it doesn't matter, it's just all money. So.
Okay. Last question I'm gonna ask, because we got other people that want to talk to, and I don't want to take too much of your time, man. My last question is, where are y'all at right now? Because I heard you mention something about trial earlier. Where y'all at right now? When's your next trial?
We are, I believe, the next court date is the 15th, and I think that is the second pre-trial date. Okay. I'm going to push for an actual trial, but I'm also going to try to push for a dismissal, considering I'm through a Lake County court system, and I haven't stepped foot in a courtroom. It's done through Zoom. I don't know how constitutionally legal that is. And on top of that, I'm still, you know, we still have a constitutional right of a speedy trial, which they have not given us because it's been more than 6 months that I've been asking for a trial. I'm not sure how that works, considering it's different between family law and common law and all that other stuff. So,
all right, well, do me a favor, man, and I'm sorry that y'all going through this, man. I'm just letting y'all share y'all story. I'm not a counselor or anything like that, but people in my chat room listening, I'm pretty much sure someone got some resources, and with your permission, man, if they want to help, they can email me, and I'll send them your email, and I'll let y'all take it over, man, with that. But whenever you go to trial, man, you want to come back and do an update, hey, my doors is open to you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, boss. I'll be more than happy to take any advice, and I'll definitely come back so I can help others, because my goal is to defund DCFS and get rid of this corrupt organization that does nothing but child traffic for profit.
Gotcha. All right, man. Y'all try to enjoy the rest of y'all night, man. I'm rooting for y'all, man, that things will get better, brother.
Yeah, thank you. You too, boss. Appreciate it. Yeah.
No problem. Somebody asked me earlier, am I gonna do the other side of this? I said in the beginning, for people who's coming in, I'm welcoming all of you. If you are a foster parent, come on up here and talk. If you have a good experience, you come on up here and talk. We ain't gotta make it all just bad. If you got some good things you want to shoot out there, hey, you can come up here too. Just send me an email. I'm welcoming everybody. Everybody who's had some kind of dealing, or you are in the system, or you have been a foster child. Everybody's welcome to come on this platform. All you gotta do is send me an email. I send you the link, and you come right on up. All right, you come right on up. All right. Over here, Miss Meadows, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Ooh, I'm hearing some feedback. You buy a stereo or something, sound like a radio or something going. What was that, me?
Huh?
No, that's you. We got some feedback in your microphone. I don't know if you buy a radio or something. I don't know.
Okay, let me turn my headphone off.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Much better. Much better. What you had? Those a Bluetooth or something?
All right. That was a headset. Thanks for letting me know.
Well, welcome to the show, dude. What's going on? What you want to talk to me about? You had a bad experience or you had a good experience? I know you hit me up an email a couple of times. And did you notify your friend that I'm live and I'm talking to y'all?
Thank you, sir. Yes, I did. I did let her know, and I sent her the link. I don't know if she's going to utilize it. I don't know, but I did provide it to her.
All right. But like I said, it's open to everybody. What if you had a bad experience, good experience, indifferent, or whatever? So talk to us. Go ahead.
Well, let me just put across the board. I've been on both sides of the spectrum, not really as a bio parent, but I have been a foster adoptive parent for over 8 years now, and I do know how the system really works from kids on up. So yes, I will put across the board. I'm not going to bash the system in any way because I still do work for the system, but I do kind of just want to shed light on being an adoptive foster mom.
Okay.
You know, it's not all rainbows and cookies over here. It is rough.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree with the family to some point where the system is designed, in my opinion, for money themselves per se. I don't want to say that they adopted. I mean, they kidnapped the children themselves, of course, but I have come to realize that I think that at some points they will try to block adoptions from happening to keep the kid in the system.
Really?
I do know that, absolutely. I do know that they get probably double, triple the amount of money that as, foster parents get, which is, I don't know how much they get because I really don't care, but I think that they block children at points from being adopted into families to benefit themselves. And that's sad.
Wow.
I did have experience with my own child that I adopted that they tried to, they literally ripped her from me.
Hold on, Ms. Meadows. Anybody who wants to get on, I see somebody say drop the link. Send me an email, just like Heidi just did. Heidi just sent me an email. Heidi, I responded to your email. The link is in your email. If you want to come on up, email me and I will give you the link. I don't know if it's in the moderators in there who copied my email, but let me put it on up there again. Send me an email and I will send you the link and you're more than welcome to come on. Sorry about that, dear. Go ahead.
That's okay. I just want to share two experiences. My side of adopting, prior to adopting my child, maybe a month and a half, my foster agency had my child ripped from me and just threw in with another family where, at the least respect for my child, they didn't even speak her language.
Did you use the term rip?
Yes, literally. I had her for 2 years and they tried to rip her. They ripped her right out of my arms before I adopted her.
Wow. Do tell.
Absolutely. And it was something as small as the same worker that would come to my house and check on my child while I was on my way home from work decided one day that it wasn't good for my child to be at home by herself because she was under 13 until I got home from work. But she had been there plenty of times in the same situation. So I was appalled that she would even consider using that as an excuse. But it happened and they took her from me for 2 weeks and she was with a family who didn't speak her language. They communicated with her through pictures.
Ms. Mano, let me ask you a question. What year did this happen? That's the reason why I'm asking. What year did this happen?
It was 2018.
Because there was a point in time. I'm an 80s baby. I don't know what year you was born, but I'm an 80s baby. And parents, I guess for the most part, was allowed to leave 13 years old at home because at that time, we're back in the day now, we knew what to do and what not to do. So I guess it wasn't no big issue. But every year it's a different rules for some reason. It's a different era and you just can't do anything anymore. So, wow, I'm kind of shocked that that's what they bring it up on you because she was at home by herself at 13. But 80s on up to 2000, I guess it's a whole different era. But go ahead. Wow.
Right. Well, let me just add in there that I had surrounding neighbors that all knew what I was doing. So they kept an eye out on my kids in the meantime for the 45 minutes that it took me to get home.
Right.
But, yeah. So, and then the worst part about it is while I was trying to fight for them to give her back to me, the worker that was coming to my house told me that my daughter said that she was afraid to be home and that's why she had to take her because I was neglecting her rights because she was afraid. And so when I called my daughter and asked my daughter while the lady was on the phone, were you ever afraid? She said, no, Mom, I was outside playing and she just came out of nowhere. So I said, this lady is crazy. They even willing to go the route of lying. I've seen it done before where they lied on my name on paper and had me sign.
Now hold up.
Or they thought I was signing.
Hold up before you go to Florida, dear. Now, I don't want you to say nothing that's gonna hurt yourself. You say you still kind of work with these folks. Now, you comfortable sharing this?
I am. Let me tell you why. Because
Okay,
I'm going to speak my truth regardless.
Because I don't want you to get in trouble. Don't say Chris got me in trouble. Don't do that. So I don't want you to get trouble.
Chris, I
Don't
speak my
blame
truth
me.
regardless.
Don't
Okay?
blame me.
I do.
Go ahead, dude.
You fine. It's for the world to know. I'm an author.
Okay.
I write my book. I make sure I write my truth.
I got you.
So
I got you.
on that behalf, I fought. I almost had to go get an attorney. I told them I got an attorney, but I also went to my child's attorney because she was still part of the system. And I had to fight with my child's attorney to get my child back, which the attorney had no idea what had happened. So with the fight of the help of the attorney with the fight, my child came back home within 2 weeks. So it was stressful, it was hurtful, but she's mine now. So that's that story.
Gotcha.
So I do know how they can be very ugly. However, on the flip side, my friend that I had invited to come to the show that didn't come, she has some other info, but I will say this much. For people that think that foster parents just do this for the money, it's so not about the money. Let me just let you know why it's not about the money. Because if you take the amount of money that we actually get or reimbursement for these children and you break it down to hourly, it's nothing. Because those kids, they don't go to grandparents' house on the weekend. They don't go hang out with nobody for a couple of hours and then we pick them up. No, we're there 24/7. So the money really has nothing to do with it.
I'm glad you spoke on that because people have different opinions about this money thing. So I'm glad you kind of like shine a light on that, you know, because I would like to know that too. You know, what actually do y'all get to support these children? Is it a nice big lump sum or is it a set money amount and this, that, and the third? So I'm glad you speaking on this. So you saying right now, it ain't how people think. Or is there certain states and cities that does things different, or is it across the globe?
Absolutely. It depends on where you are,
Okay.
which will reflect how much your reimbursement will be.
Okay.
Remind you that reimbursement is a reimbursement for a purpose because you have to carry that child prior to however long whether it's 1 month or 2 months before you even get a paycheck, any type of money for that child. So at that point, they're just reimbursing you what you spent for that child.
Let me ask you this: the money that you get that is reimbursed, is it yours, or you have to spend it on the child? And my next question behind it would be: do you have to provide receipts or provide documentation that this money is actually going to the child?
Okay. So your answer to do I have to provide documentation? Yes, absolutely, I do.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, the money is provided still between myself and that child. So let me just give you an example of how I do it because there's plenty of ways that you can do it.
Okay.
So for myself, let's go with the 2 months. So I take a child in 2 months without pay. For those 2 months, I have to show receipts of at least, depending on their age bracket, at least $80 per child clothing a month. And depending on that child age, at least $100 allowance a month. Okay, that's already taken out 180. That's almost $200. Not including food that you have to feed that child, right? So not regular food that you feed that child through the day at your home, but if that child has visitations with their family, you have to support those snacks and provide those meals. And if they have other siblings, you don't take your child to a visit without providing something for the other siblings because for my opinion, or for me, that's unfair. I would never feed my child and not feeding the other kids around.
Well, I'm glad you bring
so that's money.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Okay. So not even only that, let's calculate the gas, okay? The gas usually from my house to taking a child to their visits 3 times a week, probably about $50-$60. Not including the gas to take them to therapy or wherever else they got to go. Medical bill or medical doctors, wherever. So like I said, if a person actually calculates what we have to do as a foster parent, what we contract to do, and the reimbursement amount we get, times by 24 hours that we have this child, 30 days, we're probably looking at maybe 75 cents an hour.
Wow, really?
No, really.
Really? So
yes.
Let me ask you this, and I'm gonna close out in a minute. Dear, thank you for your time. I hope your friend do come up. Listening to Mr. Eric's story, how they child act abnormal around them, and the last thing they said was about the young man eating his food or whatnot, you know, and they barely getting information on what's going on with the child. So are they breaking any rules, or this maybe stipulations they got set? You know, because sad what's happening to him. You know, if you heard what he was saying, what do you think may be going on with that?
I heard bits and pieces, and I definitely said that they can do better. I think as far as if he feels that they're not feeding, was that the case? He felt that they weren't feeding his child the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
Was it something of that nature?
I mean, I guess that's speculation because they said when the child comes to them or they feed him,
they're hungry,
he
right?
like this, yeah. I mean, he's snatching everything, you know. So, and by you just saying it right there about the feeding and whatnot, and then you heard him, you know, and you heard him say, you know, I mean, documentation, though, they not really just telling him anything. So it's like he got to kind of like get his best to get the information what's really going on. They not getting the doctor reports, anything like that. So what you just saying, what you're saying about the you know, what do you think may be going on with him if he's not getting the information? I'm going to let him say he's supposed to be getting, but he's not getting that information. What do you think maybe what they may be doing to him? Is they doing illegal? Or they doing what they feel like doing? Or maybe it's a stipulation in the case that they don't have to tell him anything? I mean, what's going on? Y'all teach me because I don't have any children. What do you think may be going on with his situation?
Well, let me say this again. Different cities, different states do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But from California, as a foster mom or adopted mom, well, not really adopted, but foster parent, I have to document and report every single thing I do. When it comes to feeding children, those kids get weighed on a monthly. That goes a part of a monthly statement.
Mm-hmm.
So if if they're not calculating or they're not gaining any weight, or if that child is extremely hungry, then those foster parents need to either adjust what they feeding that child because that baby's still hungry and they're not feeding him enough, or maybe they're not giving that baby what it likes.
I didn't think about that. Okay.
And that's a sad situation because they should be able to feed what that child likes, being that they are getting that reimbursement. That's a part of it. As far as providing documentation, though I have to give all my documentation, I can't promise that they're giving it to the bio parents. So gotcha. I really don't know, but I do know if the ultimate goal is to provide that child or reunite that child back with that bio family, then that bio family should be able to have rights to every single documentation for that child.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. I agree with you there. Miss Meadows, dear, thank you so much for making time and sharing this information with us. Please don't make this your last time, dear. I'd love to have you back on.
Thank you. You all take care. Thank you.
All right, you too, dear. Thanks so much. Who is this calling me? Hold up with the phone calls. Hold up. You'll get everything back in order. Cause I hear a lot of people popping up. Okay, that must have been Jerry. Okay. My kids, hold on. Give me a minute and let me make this phone call back because he keep dropping off for some reason. So let me call him back. Okay. All right, can you hear me? Hold on.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
All right, let me turn you up a little bit. Yeah, I had to get you call on the phone, man, because the thing kept dropping you off, man. But go ahead, Miss Erica. What you want to share with us, man? And I got somebody else up here waiting. My kids, I'm bringing them in a minute. But again, people, if you want to get on the show, please email me, bigcdt@gmail.com. I will bring you in. As a matter of fact, I'm checking my email, see if somebody emailed me. And yes, somebody has emailed me. Okay, let me send you the link. My email is bigcdt@gmail.com. And everybody who's welcome, bad experience, good experience, if you're a foster parent or you grew up as a foster kid, everybody is welcome on this platform. All you got to do is send me an email, and I will gladly bring you in and let you share your story. Jerry, go ahead. What you want to share with us, bro? While I send this link out to somebody. Go ahead, brother.
What I want to know is, I'm listening to everything I wish I could speak with Miss Meadows because I realize everything she was saying, but my problem is this. When these people become foster parents, I need to know what evidence did they receive that allows them to take custody of somebody's child. What is it that they're supposed to have to prove and justify they have a right to take people's children away from them to become a foster parent? And second of all, what proof do they have that they adopted a child?
Okay, with that, with her permission, I could get her email, and if she allow me to, I can share it with you, and y'all can take it from there. She can try to help you with it or whatnot. I could do it that way. I could do it that way. If you want an email, I'll ask for permission to share email, and I will send it to you, and y'all can take it out there. Then I do the same thing with Eric. And that's why I'm glad I'm doing this show because y'all got people coming here talking. Maybe y'all can come together and help each other out or whatnot. Especially people who finna talk about they had good experience. Maybe they can give y'all some advice to do what y'all need to do to get y'all stuff settled. So it's a good thing we are having this show. But go ahead, brother. At 2 Virgos, I just sent you the link. Go ahead, brother. What else you got for me?
Okay, well, I want everybody that's going through this, we all need to get together and draw some type of petition to address all our state senators and state representatives that they need to do something about the DCFS cases, bring these cases in for here to have the governor respond of all states wherever this is happening to children with the DCFS. So there needs to be accountability for what they're doing, and this got to stop. Mm-hmm. And they should be compensated for all the sorrow and pain and suffering and misery, the loss of unearned income, and it needs to be addressed that they shouldn't have the right to continue doing this to families without some proof that the parents did something wrong. In order to stop this, it needs to be a hearing, emergency hearing, on what DCFS is doing. And for us to have a right to come to this hearing, for the news to see what's going on. The parents' rights is violated. A lawyer should be appointed to represent these parents immediately and get justice for these families. That's all I have to say.
All right, Jerry. Well, what I'm gonna do, man, after this show, I'm gonna get these emails for you, bro. I'm gonna get with you and Eric, all y'all, and see, do I have permission to share everybody's email? If I get y'all permission, I will share y'all emails, man, and we can come back with a part 2. And hopefully, man, we can get y'all my voice as well with y'all. Well, me opening the platform and y'all sharing y'all voices, maybe get y'all some kind of help that y'all need, brother. And I appreciate you for your time, my man.
All right.
No problem.
God bless.
No, you too, brother. You too, brother. You too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's my man Jerry. We're going to go on to the next person. We got somebody on her side. My kids. I want to bring them up in here. Good evening. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm Heidi.
Heidi, how you doing, Heidi? Good evening.
I am doing great. I just want to show you my back wall. I don't know how to angle it so that you can see it. Those are my kids. Those are my kids. My heart, my life.
Do it again. Show it again.
That way.
There. Okay. Nice family. Go ahead. What you want to share with us? Nice family.
I've been on both sides. Let me tell you.
Okay.
As a kid, my mother had her husband adopt me.
Okay.
And that man was horrible.
Oh wow.
I could tell you, and they're not just stories. It's my life. I'm a child abuse survivor, along with many other things that man did to me, which is horrible. I'm going to go into another room. I'm going to take you guys with.
Okay.
So it started out as physical abuse, and then it turned into more. And then, so I told the school social worker. The school social worker called in CPS. Well, the man that worked for CPS happened to be this man, this adopted monster, as I'll call him, the fishing buddy, was the social worker that was assigned to the case. So it didn't go nowhere from there. When I was 15, I got pregnant on purpose to get away from them. I have totally distanced myself from my biological mother's family. I've cut them all off. They're toxic. They didn't help me. CPS didn't help me. I've been with my husband for 31 years. We have 9 biological children. 3 of them not living. We lost 3 babies. So the first time we did foster care was in 1996. It was my husband's best friend's daughter. She was 15. And here I am, 21, with 4 kids of my own, doing foster care for a 15-year-old. I was lost. I felt bad. And this girl needed me. So I did what I needed to. And let me tell you, that girl lives up in Minneapolis, and she is a CEO for United Healthcare. I have 3 beautiful grandchildren that she's given me. And when she was 18, her mom committed suicide.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
That's the kind of stuff that my oldest daughter had gone through. Now, let's move on. Let's move on to 2009. We have never adopted. We had never adopted up until that point, and we have done foster care for many kids, in and out, the back and forth. And Miss Meadows hit it on the nose when she said, we don't benefit off these babies. Not at all. In the state that I live in, it's horrible. Even to go back and be like, hey, my son's got this problem. And they're like, oh, well, hey, here's a doctor.
I see you about to break down. I'm just letting you know, hey, take your time. If you need to break it to, hey, go ahead. Take your time, dear. Take your time.
So in 2009, we got an emergency placement of a 2-day-old baby. And a 2.5-year-old little girl. When my son came to me, his mom couldn't put the, the birth oven is what I'll call her. She couldn't put that meth pipe down. She did that meth the whole time she was pregnant. She drank the whole time she was pregnant with both kids. These babies came to me and it was horrible. Horrible. My daughter had so much dirt in her head. It was gross. I mean, it smelled like dead flesh. Her head hadn't been washed or cleaned.
Wow. Wow. Take your time. Take your time, baby. Take your time.
We played the game. And that's where I call BS on a situation with the bio mother in this situation. Unless the kids are with, they don't have a problem with you making that connection, at least in my state. When the bio mother needed a ride.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When the bio mom needed a ride, she needed a ride to treatment. She didn't have anybody else. I asked the social worker. I asked the case manager. I asked the guardian ad litem in our case. Yep, as long as the kids are not with, you may give her a ride. Whatever you need to do with helping with reunification, you can do it. As long as those babies are not in that car when she's in there. My email, I can't, I'm on my phone. Oh. So to tell me that they weren't okay with somebody being, having a relationship, I call crap on that. I really do. Because I was able to take this woman back and forth to treatment. And then come to find out, I would drop her off. She'd say she was getting a ride from somebody else. She was hitting the bar. I got a call about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was her. Actually, she had the doctor call me, and then she got on the phone. She had overdosed at a bar.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Overdose at a bar, okay?
Oh, good grief.
I went and picked her up. I took her home, and I sat there for 2 hours with her before her boyfriend got off of work. So I've been through it with my youngest 2 kids' birth oven. I've never been in that situation before as a foster parent. And I've never been in that situation as, well, this was, like I said, our first adoption. But let me tell you, as a mom looking in on this case, that has had a psychobiological mother trying to get the kids back, my kids have had an Amber Alert. When they terminated her rights, there was one last visit with FCC, which is Family and Children's Center. It was a supervised visit. The supervisor, this person supervising, she lied to that person and said, oh, they said I could take the kids outside. Our case manager was on vacation at the time. They couldn't access our case file. So she had taken the kids, her and her boyfriend took off with the kids. An hour and a half later, they caught my babies. They brought my babies home to me. But it took an Amber Alert to bring those 2 kids home. And that wasn't the first time. She tried again. She tried again at the kids' school. So it just got worse and worse. And she has made every Facebook account you could ever imagine under Bonnie and Clyde, Breezy and Lindsay Marie Ryder, and she's tried to come after me and my husband, and I'm like, really, girl? You don't want to do that. One of the things that I noticed in somebody's interview is the fact that you sit there and say, I will do whatever it takes. Just give me my kids back.
Right.
Did you do what it took to get those kids back in 2018? Because I went through that same thing. My kids went back. My kids were back. They were reunified after 6 months. Do you know what they found in my kids' diaper bag when they placed them back with me 3.5 weeks later for emergency care? They found, I have pictures of it. They found a light bulb that she was smoking crack out of in my baby's diaper bag. He was 6 months old.
Wow.
So did you do what it takes? Because my kid's mom did what it took. 3.5 weeks later, after the 6-month reunification, we were back in court. The judge, the lawyers, the guardian ad litem was fed up to here. During one of the visits, and during one of the reunification visits that she had the kids for the weekend, and it got brought up in court after the kids were placed back with us, she had thrown my son from one side of the vehicle to the other.
Well, excuse me, she did what now?
In an Envoy pickup truck from the driver's side, she threw my son in that car from one side to the other. His jaw hit the side of the window that was open, hit the side of the window, fractured his jaw. He is permanently deaf, and I can show you my son's hearing aids. He is permanently deaf on his right side because of it. Yeah, she did that. Give me his hearing aid. Oh. So did this mom do what she needed to do? Because damage can be done, and it can continue to be done for a long time afterwards. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, you got quiet. And that's normally what happens.
After hearing that, yes, I got quiet. That you should see my face. The people on YouTube can see my face. My mouth is wide open.
Your face? My face. So when they say they've done what they needed to do to get their kids back, no, not at all. And they never will. So that's why I question. Do I have questions for the adoptive parents? You betcha I do, because this case is giving adopted parents horrible coverage. Horrible. This case is giving biological moms horrible coverage, because the door open and everything come crawling out. It don't get hidden. This case has everybody divided, just like our country is right now. And that's one thing that these babies don't need, is us being divided. These babies need us to come together and look at everything, from the adoptive parents to the biological mother to the neighbor that has that video footage. Because you tell me, what cop is going to release that video footage? Who's really going to do that?
Yeah, that's why somebody sent me something about that, and like I said in one of my last streams, there a lot of people is kind of upset that the neighbor did release that video. You know, they are upset. Matter of fact, Jamie sent it to me. That people are upset because they feel like by them doing that, it's possibly going to hinder the case or whatnot. And that's why I was telling people, even if I did have the video, I wouldn't show that because I know it was an ongoing investigation, and I don't want to fuck it up,
Right.
So,
And I get that, Chris. That's why I reached out to you, not only for the adoptive parents out there, but for the bio parents, especially the ones that are still doing foster care, that are working with parents out there with that reunification process, because it's not easy. And I watched your guest earlier. It's not easy having a foster parent that you can talk to that'll give you updates on your kids. That's what you need. You need that team. We had what was called a monthly team meeting with the foster parents present. The kids were in the room. The parents were in the room. When a parent is not happy with a foster parent, that isn't a good mix, and it's not going to help with reunification. So getting that reunification and having that foster parent that's willing to work with you, that's what it needs. There's a lot of flaws in the system, as I know from my own personal experience. Watching my youngest 2 babies go through it, watching this case just makes me sick to my stomach, especially with people watching certain, and not you because you've been awesome, but there's certain YouTubers out there that I'm not going to name any names.
Yeah, because we're not on here to.
I know.
We're not on here to do that. Go ahead.
But they're jumping the gun. They're this is going on, that's going on. Falsifying stuff, lying about stuff. It just can't go on. If they're going to cover this case, they need to be 100% accurate. And that way, you don't want YouTubers. There was a lady attacked in somebody's group last night because she had voiced a comment. And the lady called her everything and literally called her a white girl. I couldn't believe it when she sent me the link, and I was like, oh my God, that's horrible.
Well, let me say this right here, and I thank you for sharing your story. When it comes to that case, everybody's emotions is running high. So a lot of us are doing things out of emotion, and we speaking out of emotion, whatnot. But at the end of the day, all we doing is speculating what's going on. Only the foster parents know what went on. The bio mom, only she know why she lost her children and whatnot. And the people who's out there doing the searching, they don't want to know what's really going on out there. We just sit behind, me and other content creators, we just sit behind the computer just commentating on it. So we don't know what happened. We don't know what's going on.
And I get that. The one thing that I want your viewers to understand, and I want to ask them, because if they're said no, they're lying. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. I've had a fenced-in yard for 20 years. Mm-hmm. My kids have been out in the backyard, and we had, a picket fence. So the big, tall, you couldn't see in, kids couldn't see out. We had that wooden fence. There ain't one parent that ain't let their kids out in the backyard under 10 years old and ran in the house to grab something quick. Mm-hmm. If they say they haven't, they're lying. Mm-hmm. Because everybody has. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. Everybody parents differently. But I just know deep down in my heart that we all need to come together to find Orson and Oren.
And I agree with you on that, dear. And that's why I do what I do. Thank you so much, dear, for sharing your story. And, I don't know what to say. I'm just here to listen, and everybody else is listening too. Just be mindful. I'm not a counselor. But the good thing about it is somebody in the audience may have some dealing with this, and they probably can guide you in the direction that you need to go to, I guess, get everything fixed what's broken with what happened with your situation. And if they do, with your permission, I will get them your email, and just like everybody else, y'all talk and see what y'all come up with, whatever help you can get. And let's take it from there. But I wish you the best, dear. I wish you the best.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for letting me come on.
No problem. No problem. Wow.
Bye, hon.
Bye. Crazy stories. Real crazy story. Somebody said if the police didn't tell you not to release the video, then you're free to do it. I don't know how that works, but I will ask the question right here. Why do the police have to tell you not to do it if you know it's an investigation going on? You know, I get what you're saying, and I guess in a sense I agree with you, but do you really need the police to tell you not to release the video or it could hurt our case? I mean, just think about that. They're just like there's an electric fence outside, and I know it sends volts to your body that can kill you. Do I really need somebody to tell me, Chris, don't touch that fence, or this shit gonna shock you, or to the point that you might die? Do I really need somebody to tell me that? Now, that's how I look at to the person who said that. That's how I look at that, you know. So I think with something like that, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, that's how I feel about it, you know. But everybody's different. So, but you probably brought a good point right there. Let me bring in two Virgos. Unmute yourself.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Well, you have talked to me before. I don't know if you remember.
Do you got me on the headphones? Because I'm hearing playback.
No, I have you probably too loud.
Oh, what?
How about now?
Yo. I can still
hear you. Do you have a back? Yeah, I can hear you. Do you have an echo now?
Yes, I still do.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just because it's too loud on my end.
Okay, well.
How about now?
Yo.
How about
I can still hear, but we can try to work through it though. Go ahead, talk to me.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember talking to me when I was telling you about my daughter was in foster care and she got pregnant. So we're gonna jump a little forward. So now she done had the baby. My grandson is in foster care right now. They're to adopt him out because my daughter, who has a mental health issue, told these workers that I had her living in an abandoned building, and instead of them asking an adult, they straight just took my grandson. I have not seen my grandson yet. He was born the 18th of December. DFS, CPS, Child Protective Service, they need to be defunded.
Okay.
They take your children for no reason at all, and I just like they're trying to get to adopt my grandson out. My grandson has a parent. He has grandparents. So if he needs to be adopted, I feel as though the grandparents should be the people to adopt, not
somebody got a question. Hold on,
a stranger.
Somebody got a question. Somebody got a question. And I don't know what you did, but the echo is not there no more. Thank you. Somebody said, how old is the daughter?
My daughter's 15. She's a minor. She's 15. She's a minor. When she went into labor, no one called to say anything. And my daughter do have bipolar disorder. CPS is using my daughter's mental illness as a pawn to make money, and I don't like it. I'm heartbroken. I want them defunded. And my grandson was born on the 18th of December, and he's been kidnapped already. So the other alleged grandparent is now in jail because they kidnapped the baby. So, you know, if they want to do an investigation, do a real investigation. Don't half step. It's already divided. You know, there are good people out there, yes. There are bad people out there, yes, we know. But CPS should not be allowed to come into your house and just take your child on some hearsay.
Somebody else got another question there. They said, have you done the kinship care? And if you haven't, why haven't you?
Well, because my daughter, so my daughter told the hospital that she was, and the baby didn't have nowhere to go. So when she told them that, the hospital didn't call me. The social worker at the hospital didn't call me. CPS just took my daughter from the hospital and placed my daughter and my grandson to people that I don't even know. I have a family. My family is willing to take my daughter as well as my grandson, but they didn't do anything. They didn't allow me the opportunity to say, hey, look, this is what happened. Now, when I talked to you last year, when I found out my daughter was pregnant, my daughter and I had to go into a safe house because the alleged baby father was attacking her and attacking me as well. They kept coming to my job. They kept harassing me. Police report after police report. I know I have at least 25 police reports. Okay. So with that being said, CPS didn't call me. And then when I finally got to talk to somebody, my grandson is already in care. So now I'm talking to supervisors and supervisors now at this point. And they like, well, how come, you didn't call the DSS worker? She never called me. I saved everything. I got screenshots, I got text messages, I got everything. When I call everybody, I call every day. I'm gonna blow your phone up every day because I want to know why I can't see my grandson. And they were supposed to meet with me on Thursday of last week. I showed up. The worker didn't call me, and then when she did call me, it was like 2 hours after the time we were supposed to meet. And she's like, "Oh well, his pediatrician said this." I don't give a damn what his pediatrician said. I'm his grandmother. I want to see him.
All right, I got a few questions. Ask 3 of them at the most.
Okay.
Somebody want to know what state is this in?
Maryland.
Okay. You sound like you talk from Memphis. We kind of talk like that. Maryland.
Yes, we talk. We talked before.
How do you say? Do you say milk or milk?
Milk.
Milk. Okay. Some say milk. We say milk. I don't know where the
I don't say it like that. No, I don't say it like that.
Some say milk. I don't know what the hell is milk.
But listen. I do know how to say shrimp, but I can't say sink.
Sink.
Right, sink. The kitchen sink.
So you can say shrimp instead of scrimp. You can say shrimp.
Right.
You can say
right.
Stop.
I can say shrimp.
You can say stop.
Not sink.
Okay, gotcha. Another question was, what was the police report on, and who called the police? Was it your daughter that called the police, or who called the police?
Well, I called the police on the alleged baby father because he kept attacking me and my daughter.
So you called the police?
Yes, I called the police.
Gotcha.
When I found out my daughter had the baby, it was 2 days later. I didn't even know my daughter had went into labor. She told me she was going over her friend's house. I said, okay, fine. I know you get ready to have your baby, and she wanted to be around her friends, allegedly. So I said, okay, fine. So when she went into labor and got to the hospital, nobody called. But then I get a phone call a week later, like 3 days later, saying my daughter and my grandson going into care.
Oh wow! Are you the one? Are you the one that's in the chat room saying you want to speak on somebody got burnt?
No.
Okay,
but the guy that wants to defund DFC and CPS, yes, I really think they ought to start some kind of organization. So yes, you can give out my email address because they do need to be defunded.
Okay, somebody got a question that said, now whatever question I ask you, keep in mind you don't have to answer. That's totally up to you.
Right, that's fine.
Okay. Somebody want to know how old was the baby dad?
So he is a minor. They both minors, 15.
Okay, hold on. Was you asking how old was the baby dad of her daughter, or the baby dad of her daughter's child? Which one was you asking? Because that's good. I didn't think about that, but I think they may be asking the one you could see with the guy who you had the child with. I think that's what they're asking.
How old is my daughter's father?
No, yeah. That right there. Yeah. I think.
Let me tell you, I couldn't even tell you because I don't, I don't talk to him, so I don't really know, to be honest.
Well,
I do know my grandson have grandparents, and if they would have thought that I would allow my child to be in an abandoned house with a baby, I think they should have asked an adult instead of a child with a mental disorder, which is known from the hospital. You know what I'm saying?
Now you say you had talked before. I mean, your voice may sound
Yes,
familiar.
we
When did I
we
talk to
had
you?
talked. Me and another lady named Nene. We was on. I want to say like in August, I think, of last year. Because I was talking about how they just take my daughter and just been harassing me. My daughter was supposed to be in foster care, but she was with me. So how is she in foster care if she's at my house every day with me all day, every day?
Okay.
Every night she was at my house. She wasn't in foster care.
Okay.
So when they let her come home is when I talked to you and another lady named Nay. Her and I was talking to you about this situation and how they just take people kids in Maryland.
I only know one name. I only know one name. That's named Moody.
Nay Moody.
Yeah,
Oh well, and you had hooked us up with some social workers in Maryland as well.
I would remember that. I don't think that was me, boo. I don't think that was me.
Yeah, it was you. Yeah, it was
It
you.
was Chris
I look
Thorns. It was
out.
Chris Thorns.
Yes, yes, yes,
Damn, I talk to women.
yes,
Don't remember who I
sir.
talk to.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Well, if
But
I was able to
they
get you some help, then I guess I did my
and
job
you
then.
and yes, you did because you allowed us to talk about CPS and how um they just don't. They're not fair. They are not fair. They don't treat people fair. And
Okay.
it's crazy because it's a system that's allegedly help kids and they're not. They're not helping kids. They're tearing families apart. That's all they doing.
Okay.
And by me growing up in foster care, you trying to make my kids be in foster care. So now this is 3 generations. If you keep my grandson in foster care, that's 3 generations of foster care. All you doing is tearing people families apart.
Okay. Okay. What's I going to say? As we speak right now, where's the current? Where's your current situation now? You and the daughter and everybody. What is your current situation right now?
My daughter is in foster care, and so is my grandson.
Okay.
And yet again, my daughter was at my house 3 days last week, and she spent 2 nights at my house. So how is she in foster care if she's still at my house? You know what I'm saying? And my grandson, I can't see him because allegedly his pediatrician don't want him to come outside, which I understand the coronavirus. Okay, so we do have Zoom, we have other forms of TV videos where you could, have visits. You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't do that like you said you was gonna do. That's crazy. All you do is lie to people and break families up. That's all they do. And it's
Okay.
you cannot convince me no otherwise because I see it firsthand.
Okay.
My daughter was in foster care and got pregnant. Nobody has compensated me yet for that, but yet you take my grandson. So that's compensation. My daughter gets pregnant in foster care, and then you take my grandson.
Okay, this what I want you to do. If you can hang in there. I got somebody in the chat room. They say they want to come up because they trying to understand your story. They say it sounds like there's some holes missing. So you ain't got to stay up here, but just sit tight, try to listen. I'm gonna bring them up a little later so I can see what they talk about as far as your story goes, and maybe you can explain to them in more depth whatever question they got for you, if you don't
Okay,
mind. If you don't mind
that's
now,
fine.
if you
No,
don't
I
mind.
don't mind. I do
Okay.
not
And you
mind.
could describe to them more in depth what you're speaking of, so you can hang tight as long as you can before you fall asleep. Or even if you do fall asleep, you can go back and watch the replay. And I guess you want to do a part two. I guess I can bring y'all
Of
two
course,
together. I can bring
of
y'all two
course.
together, and maybe she can help you out. You know where the missing pieces is falling at. So okay, so you can hang tight. I will bring her on a little bit later, but I think I got somebody else waiting there. But is there anything that you want to say before I let you go?
No, sir.
All
Thank you
right, then.
very much. You
No
take
problem.
care.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for sharing your story, baby. Thank you. All right. So she said I helped a long time ago. I promise I don't remember. I promise I don't remember. But if I did, then hey, I did my job. You know what I'm saying? I take it. I did my job. All right. So all right. Is it Ali or Ali? Which one is it?
Ali, Mr. Chris.
Ali, well, good evening, dear. How you doing?
I'm all right, sir.
All right. So you want to be a part of this show? You got some things you want to share too. So I think you the last one on here. As for right now, you are. Let somebody else jump on. So go ahead. What you want to share with me?
It's a lot to the story, but I'm gonna get to the part where I sympathize with Miss Ryan Dean. I was removed from my mom. Me and my 1-year-old sister at the time I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the foster care system. I was sexually assaulted. That's why I went into the. Someone that came into my home took me and my sister out the home. But at that time, they let my little sister and my other brother, the 2 middle kids, stay. They just removed me and my younger sister because we was part of the system. We was part of the incident that had happened. So I get there to foster care. They sent me there with 4 boys, ranging from the age of 18 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time I was there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Mind y'all, that lady didn't buy me now. Fine, Mr. Chris. Do you hear me?
When you speak of that lady, who is this lady that you're speaking of?
Her name is Miss Aileen. I'll never forget it. I'm 43 years old. People will be amazed at the things children remember.
Oh yeah, I say that all the time. I say that all the time, which I think we don't remember. We remember. We probably don't speak on it much, but we do remember. So I agree with you on that. But go ahead.
So I was there. I recall eating beans and oatmeal all the time. Nothing else but beans and oatmeal. I ate it to this day. She made me share the boys' underwear.
What?
Yes, sir. She made me share them young men underwear. And people was coming to her, giving her clothes. Mr. Chris, when I got to my grandmama's house, I broke down and cried. They told me I was going to my grandmama's. And they thought it was a sad thing, but to me, it was the most amazing thing in my life. When I left that woman's house, Mr. Chris, I had 2 bags of clothes like you would get from a grocery store.
Yeah.
That's what I had. And the whole time I was there, she gave me spending money.
Hold on. Miss Classy, if you are still in the chat room, I emailed you with the link. Sorry about that, dear. Go ahead.
Okay, the whole time I was there, she gave me $2 in spending money. That was it. I went, and then later on down the line, my sister had her kids removed. And we stepped up. We tried to get my sister's kids. She had 3 children at the time, a boy and 2 girls.
Hold on one more time. Your story is touching people. They coming out the bushes. You got people coming out the bushes. I thank y'all so much. And I'm glad I did the show because I was going to cancel it because I'm kind of a little on the weather because my allergies kind of bothered me a little bit. But I'm glad I had the strength to keep this show going because y'all telling some stories and you got people actually coming out the bushes. And just like, wow.
And you know what?
Go ahead.
I appreciate that, Mr. Dean. This part of my life, you don't even know the half of the story. You just don't. This is just part of it. But anyway, get that puppy out of here, Jamaica, please. Anyway.
Hold on. It's just funny how you did that. You went, get that puppy out of here.
Yeah, she know.
Go ahead, dear. Go ahead.
And so, it was just terrible, Mr. Chris, with me being there. I cry about that to just the whole part of it, but we'll probably talk on another level about how I got there and what happened. So down the line, my sister get her 3 children moved. Okay. My nephew was losing weight. For some reason, my nephew could talk. I remember at the time him being about 5. He could talk, but the 2 little girls, they was like 3 and 1.
Uh-oh. You dropped. Okay, now, what the hell? I lost you there. Come on back up. Come on back up. If you can't, come on back up. Wow. There you go.
Okay. So at the time,
there you go.
Okay. At the time, Mr. Chris, my little nephew, I ain't gonna say their name. He could talk, but the 3 and the 1-year-old, they couldn't talk. So the lady didn't want him to stay. They made him go somewhere else. But we did notice that he was losing weight. They had him with a foster mother that was 75 years old. Okay. So my sister was talking to him on the phone. She was keeping in touch with him. And I stepped forward to get him. I didn't have no protective services background or anything. When you growing up as a child, Mr. Chris, you learn. I lived and I learned. The stuff I went through, my kids weren't going nowhere. And I got it. My baby is 13. I got a 22-year-old, and I got an 18-year-old. And what I went through in my life, it taught me to be a better person, and it taught me to treat my kids how they supposed to be treated.
So you another one that believes sometimes we gotta get a heavy fall for us to make us better.
Yeah, I mean, the Father see fit for certain people to have to do that.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
And he was losing weight, and I sympathized with her.
Keep on talking. I need to run and do something real quick. Just keep on talking to the people. I need to run. Go ahead.
I sympathize with Miss Dean because I stepped up and tried to get my sister kids. I didn't have no criminal background, nothing on my record, or anything. For some reason, they just didn't want to give none of my sister kids to none of the family members. It's 3 sisters and it's 3 of us. It's 7 of us. I have 3 sisters and 3 brothers. So we noticed they had put my nephew, they left the 2 little girls with the older lady. With the younger lady, and gave my nephew to a lady that was 75 years old. So my sister happened to call there one day. And the lady had her daughter watching the children. The daughter was maybe about in her 50s. She told my sister that it was there was another baby in there. He was about 11 years old. She told my sister the 11-year-old was sexually molesting my 5-year-old nephew. I told my sister, we was in a rage. I said, this is what you do. I said, call the police. I said, no, because they was in Iroquois, Michigan, y'all. We stayed in Detroit. I said, you call the police and meet them there. We called back, asked the lady for the address. She gave us the wrong address. I said, no, sis, We finna look for this woman's car. I said, you know how her car look? Or the daughter's car? She said, yeah, and she said, we finna look for her car. We looked for that woman's car and found that house, y'all. We called the police. They removed him out of there that night. So then they removed him that night. We went to court the next day. They want to place, now they want to give them to me. They want to give my sister, all my sister children to me. I take them. Because that's my family. I take them, no problem. My nephew act like he had an A. We gave him pizza. We gave him cake. We gave him everything. We've been trying to get my sister kids out of the system. But it took something for that to happen. For them to give us my sister kids. I don't understand people.
So you had
that's not that woman's fault.
So
that's them foster parents' fault. Them kids came up missing. And yet they possibly dead. But you know what, Mr. Chris? If they was there with that mama, they wouldn't be dead. We not perfect as parents at all. We ain't none of us perfect. You know, but they wouldn't be dead. My nephew hadn't ate. He wasn't eating right. My nephew was a healthy kid. My nephew lost about 20 to 5 pounds with that lady. We gave him a little party and everything. I don't care what nobody say. Foster parents is wrong sometimes. Not all of them, but some of them are wrong. And if she complained about her children losing weight, they wasn't eating right, they wasn't getting a haircut, or nothing. I don't care what nobody say. Them foster parents get paid good. Even after you adopt them kids, they still get money for them and allowances and stuff like that for them kids. So it's not that mother's fault. It's them parents' fault. And why not give them to some of the family? Sometimes people just do spiteful stuff for spiteful reasons.
Well, hold on before you go any further on that. From my understanding, one of the relatives was for to get the children, though they did have them. The system pulled a little 360 right at the last minute. That's how they end up with the West. So the relative did, or they were for to get them, but at the last minute, it was changes to the plan. From my understanding of the story, and I want to say this to you too. Somebody named Renita, and Michael. They say they know a male 27 years old. He's a Navy veteran who was removed from his family along with 11 others and put in the foster care system. The family that he got sexually abused him. They sexually abused him in the home he was placed. You know, when I heard this, when we talk about this, it reminded me of the story of Antoine Fisher. They say that was based on a true story, and pretty much stuff like that. For what they said, same thing happened with him. The grandmother was treating him bad. I don't know so much about the granddaddy, but the grandmother was treating him so bad, called him little niggas and all this. And the girl who was babysitting him took him down in the basement, you know, molesting him and things like that, you know. And this stuff goes on for real, just not in movies, you know. This stuff does happen for real. So to see, thank you, Renata, however I say that, thank you for putting it up in there because you're absolutely right. The stuff like that does happen, you know. So, well, go ahead, dude. That's you said you got somebody that was eating crazy when you got them because you don't think they're being fed properly and things like that.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
He had lost like 25 pounds, Mr. Chris. Me and my husband, we just broke down in tears. My husband went out and bought him a brand new little truck that he could play with. We all, you know, but I stepped up in the beginning. With nothing on, I got a clean record at The only thing I might have is a parking ticket. But other than that, Mr. Chris, I don't have no record. They just didn't want to give them to me. It's people out there that work in these type of places that's spiteful. If they having a bad day, they want to take it out on other people. And people people say, well, why would they do that? Why would people do a lot of things that they do in this world?
Amen. I agree with you on that. Why?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, and the lady was 70-something years old. She stayed at bingo. The daughter would be drinking. The daughter had the kids. The daughter, the one that came out and told he had been sexually molested.
Jesus Christ.
She had caught him on the cages on top of my nephew. I told my sister, I said, call the police now. She said, I don't know the address. I said, I said, look, ma'am, what's the address? She gave us the wrong address. But we found that car, Mr. Chris. I said, drive up and down this street till we found it. We called the police and made a report there. And then from there, they gave them to my sister. They gave them to me, the oldest sister.
See, there right there is what I'm talking about. Like when people, when the West got on the camera, said the police told us to stay put, that they got the best out there working. And my thing is that a lot of people, I'm pretty much sure they agree. Now, dude, don't tell me to stay nowhere. I mean, we responsible for them children, so I'm finna go look. So fuck you. You know, you're a prime example. You're a prime example what I'm talking about. Even though y'all had the right address, y'all went and found where their child was at. That's what I'm talking about right there. Ain't nothing gonna stop nobody from their child, mother or father. You got them fucked up. They gonna find their child.
Yeah.
And
but you know what?
It's gonna be hell when they find them too. But go ahead.
You know what, Mr. Chris? In my heart and my mind, the reason why the dogs didn't pick up no scent, because they took them out in a suitcase or a bag. You think so? I believe they was, my opinion, they was something happened to them in the house. They didn't love the children no way because they didn't come from them. They was doing it for a paycheck, and whoever disagree with me, I don't care. I have a right to have an opinion.
No,
everybody have a title.
No, everybody got their own theory. I done heard people say check underground. I mean, that could be a possibility. I done heard people say check oil drums that's around. That could be a possibility. You ain't the only one who said suitcase. I done seen people in my chat room, other people chat room say maybe they was in the suitcase. You in this case, you just don't know. And the main thing everybody thinking out that they may have been sold. You know, so we just don't know. We just don't know. Possible. So don't say, I don't care what nobody think, because you got a lot of people that think the same way you think. You know, I'm almost to the point now, if you ain't find nobody now, I'm starting to think they were sold, but who knows? Who knows? Go ahead.
And I believe they didn't love the children. And let me go back to my sister. The state got a lawsuit, the state of Michigan got a lawsuit on them for $200,000 for that. We done been to court and everything. Mm-hmm. That's why I can't release my sister's name. I don't want nobody knowing her business or
that's right.
anything.
Don't share no information. Don't share no information that you're not supposed to. So you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing. Go ahead.
But I'm telling you, Mr. Chris, and I done been through some stuff in my life too. Some terrible stuff. That's why I told you Google my name. That's why I sent you my whole name. I'm trying to sue the state of Michigan too. Okay. They don't care about people. It seems like they don't care about people's feelings. They don't care about nothing. They don't care. And if that lady, Miss Ryan Dean, was complaining, her kids wasn't eating, they was losing weight. Now what if they didn't have nothing in the sippy cup? They ain't had one diaper, no wipes. I mean, that's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. That is ridiculous. They should have did something then. And I was just so mad and hurt about that. My kids be like, Mama, you obsessed about that. I'm passionate about kids. I'm passionate about sexual assault.
So am I.
I'm just passionate about foster care, them three things I'm passionate about because I done been through them. And I wonder, was the other kids getting abused too? It just make you wonder, was they doing their biological children the same way? That's what I want to know.
It's funny you say that because somebody just said in the chat room, and I 100% agree. They say if you never dealt with CPS, I know a lot of stuff that a lot of us are saying is ridiculous, but that's because you never dealt with them. But if you dealt with them, crazy this stuff may sound, it does happen. That was somebody said in the chat room. Until you deal with them, you don't know what it's like. But go ahead.
This, you sitting up, buying the cheapest thing you could find to feed the kids, even if they not eating. They rule up here in Michigan with foster care. You allowed to feed the child anything. I mean, long as it's edible. But you might go get them a pack of ramen noodles, long as they done ate.
My best friend she just said that the other day, I be damned. You said the same thing she said. She said if them folks come to your house, you can have like 3 pack of noodles. She said the same thing. You can have like about 3 pack of noodles there, long as it's showing that you feeding them. Or you can have a pallet on the floor, wherever they call that shit. Long as they got somewhere to lay their head, they being bathed. They said CPS 9 times out of 10 ain't gonna do nothing, and you just confirmed it. Wow.
And Mr. Chris, the lady that had my nephew, she had 5 foster kids, and what she had with a room, like long as they had a section off in the room that they could sleep in, a little bit let out like what do they call them fold up beds. They fit in the room, and long as they had a bucket or a pail to put their clothes in. They ain't even need a dresser.
Really?
You get they getting all this money for these children. And guess where she at with the money, Mr. Chris?
What she get?
Bingo. The casino. Bingo in the casino.
So she took the money and was spending it, gambling the money.
On bingo in the casino, yeah. You're not doing it from the heart. They not doing it from the heart. They doing it for their pockets. And it's sickening and it's sad. They better start cracking. If that woman had her children, Mr. Chris, they would still be alive. We wouldn't be looking for her.
That's why I asked Miss Meadows, when you get this money and you claiming that you're spending it on the children, do you have to show documentation that you are spending on the children? She said, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me for chatting if I'm wrong. I think she said either she do or she do it on the strength to show where the money's going on. She made documentation, keep receipts and all this stuff. I can't remember exactly what she said, if she did or she just do it on the strength. But with that being said, I would like to think that all of them, if you're getting money for these children, you need to show some kind of documentation where the money's going to. Because apparently she ain't showing no documentation. If you're taking the money to the casino and to bingo, you may say showing nothing where the money's going to, unless you get somebody doctoring you up some receipts. I don't know. I don't have any children, so y'all teaching me. The people in the chat room teaching me. I'm listening to y'all stories, and it's a motherfucking ridiculous. This is sad. But go ahead.
Mr. Chris, you'll be amazed what some of these people come up with. What they think that the ideas now how's you got 3 kids or 4 kids in one room and that's okay? And just, and another thing I didn't appreciate when I read the story, it seemed like to me, Trayvon and that what's her Jacqueline. They were spiteful people. I'm gonna tell you why, Mr. Chris. Why wouldn't y'all leave them children name their mama left them? Why would y'all change their name?
You know what? That's a question that I want to know too. Why would you change their name? Because I thought Sincere Classic was a nickname, but everybody can tell me, no, Chris, that's their bio name. I'm like, whoa. So they changed the name to Orson and Oren. Very interesting. Very interesting.
And see, that was beautiful names, but that's showing a sign of control. And listen to this too, Mr. Chris. When they asked, she said, if worse come to worse, can I stay in my kids' life? That's can I bring them gifts? Mr. Chris, they was doing it out of spitefulness. They control freaks. That's a man, somebody that's want to control you. That's a sign of controlling someone.
You know,
why wouldn't you let that woman bring them gifts to them children?
I question it too. You know, that I find it kind of odd. You know, which made me think there's animosity between the two. Especially when they came out with the statement and how they threw out there saying she lost her children for various reasons. And I was like, why would you throw that out there? You know what I mean? I didn't think it was the time to do that. But it made me feel like that there's some tension between them two. But she says she don't know them. So something going on with that. You know, there's some bad blood somewhere up in there. So I don't know.
No, Mr. Chris, they just didn't like the girl. They didn't even give her a chance. You know what I'm saying? Why would you? But y'all the one that lost them. Y'all lost our kids. Y'all got them and lost them. Y'all didn't lose the other four. They felt like, I'm telling you, Mr. Chris, I have 16 nieces and nephews. I have 3 children of my own. And when my nieces and nephews spend the night, even if they come to visit and spend the night, it's challenging. All them children. And I'm the oldest child. My children is the oldest out of all my siblings' children. Mm-hmm. So they got too money hungry, and it got challenging for them. Mm-hmm. That was just all it was. So it got too challenging for them, and they couldn't deal with it. Instead of saying, you know what, the front door right there, instead of walking out or leaving or taking them somewhere, y'all decided to do something with their children. Because what can a 3 and 4 year old grow? They not no adults.
Exactly, and how dark it gets out there, them kids couldn't have went far. So you know, I do believe they was taken somewhere, or. Yeah, they was taken somewhere, and I'm starting to believe that they were sold, or everybody got an uproar yesterday where they thought it was the boys' human remains. They was going to find out it was somebody else. So right now, you know, we just don't know what's going on at this point. But the West, they know what's going on, and they keep it a tight.
And somebody in their family, Mr. Chris.
In their family, yes.
You believe you meet, and them ain't the only two know what happened. Somebody got to help them. Absolutely. Somebody helped them with them children.
Absolutely.
And I believe it was on his side of the family.
Absolutely. So now I can understand why you came up here, because you can kind of relate to this story for what you've been through. So you can kind of relate to what was going on. And
yes.
I'm happy to do a part 2 with you as well, because I know you was telling me something while we was on the phone. You said you left somewhere and you heard this familiar voice. Unless you want to share this story right now.
I was that's how I got into foster care. I was 8 years old.
Okay.
And my mama, she was a young mother. Mm-hmm. My mouth kind of dry. She was a young mother, and you know, she had me when she was 17. It was me and three other siblings. Mm-hmm. Let me get some water, Mr. Chris.
Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I mean, I welcome anybody on this platform. If you got a story that you want to share, I mean, while we still live now, you can email me. I'll bring you up. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad experience. I mean, if you are a foster mother or you grew up in the foster system, I want you to share your story as well. Bad, good, indifference, or whatever. You are more than welcome here and share your story. So far, so good. If I can say that, so far, so good. Everybody had a negative experience except for Miss Meadows, Miss Meadows. Well, no, a couple of y'all say y'all been on both sides of the fence, so y'all can speak on both sides. But we don't have to just make it all bad. If you had a good experience in the foster care system, or you are a foster mother or a father, I will give you my email, and you are more than welcome to come on the platform and share your story as well. I welcome all. In the meantime, thanks to everybody for joining tonight. We got 58 thumbs up. Can I get 2 more for 60? Y'all been awesome tonight. Go ahead, dear. Go ahead.
Okay. I was 8 years old, and the next thing I know, I'm in the alley, 2:30 in the morning. My mother wasn't at home. This when they had the line phones out. So I'm not gonna lie, my little sister, she called me mama.
Mm-hmm.
You know how a little baby, you be holding her so much and you play with your little sister, she's so attached to you. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And like if somebody would pick her up, she would cry for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up in the alleyway at 2:00 in the 2:00, 2:30. It happened May 26, 1986. I'm 43 years old. I'm gonna tell you what the state of Michigan did for me.
Okay.
So I'm in the alleyway. And you know, you waking up, you a kid, and you know, I just stopped. And the person said, walk. So I took it to be a family member. He said, shut the F up and walk. I walked. I was 8 years old. He raped me. He raped me and everything.
Okay.
And so,
okay, when you say he, who is he? Who are we talking about?
I believed it was a family member.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you, when you finna, Mr. Chris, you're gonna be like, God damn. So my mama, I called my mama. So he tried to strangle me. He had white hospital towel. He tried to strangle me, but through the grace of God, it was somebody coming in the alley. He jumped off of me. He went to left, and I went to the right. I ran back to my house. The front door was open, but I know I had locked the door before I went to bed, because me and my siblings, we stayed in that one room while my mama wasn't at home watching television. So I get in the house, Mr. Crishaw, my little sister Diamond. Oh, I'm telling their name. My little sister, not there, the one is one. So I call my mother. I say, Mama, she not in the house. So back then, my mama, when she started looking in the dumpsters.
Oh, Lord.
Started looking in the dumpsters for my little sister.
Oh, God.
So
Take
the
your time,
police came in our house. They said, ma'am, it's a little 1-year-old baby that was found on 3 or 4 blocks away.
Oh, God.
On somebody's porch.
Oh, God.
They took me down to Children's Hospital. They could even barely do a rape kit on me. That's how bad it was. Then I got on this bloody gown. They didn't take the gown and nothing into evidence. They didn't take nothing into evidence. They sent me to that foster home I told y'all about. Then they sent my sister to one. After that time, I guess they just removed the children that was in the incident back then. Because they left my brother and my other sister with my mama in my mama care. So then I'm after that, about when I was 9 to 10, I went to go live with I stayed with my grandmama for a while, my maternal grandmother. And my maternal grandmother, And she told me that said, Ann, I know you really don't want to go back home, but go back home and give your mama a chance.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
And she said, give your mama a chance. And she said, when you get older, like maybe 15 to 16, you could come and live with me. But my grandmama and daddy gone, and that was my world. That was my world. So I'm not gonna lie, my mama still didn't stop leaving us. He was still getting left alone. But the same person I thought raped me, I'm in we in a new house. We in a family flat, Mr. Chris. The person sitting on the end of the bed. And I said, how did you get in the house? He was like, oh, girl, go back to sleep. I'm like, what? I ain't say nothing. So I'm 30, I'm 35. I didn't go. That caused me, this stuff that happened to me caused me to be an overweight child, an overweight teen, an overweight young adult. And that caused me to have 2 or 3 health problems. All the stuff that I went through. So in my heart, I didn't want to believe it was this person that did it. They was there for me. They gave me anything I wanted and everything. I just, in my heart, didn't want to believe this. But my sister Diamond, she the only one that seen the person. She was 1 year old. But she too young to act. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Chris? So I'm like, so another incident happened, Mr. Chris. It's not like I'm putting myself in predicaments for things that happen to me. I'm 17 years old, just getting out of school. My mama tell me, I got 6 other kids to take care of. You're gonna have to get you a job and do something. So my friend got me a job out there in the suburbs. It was on 17th and Van Dyke. So on 17th and Van Dyke. So I went out there to work. And I always tell people, when you're right mind, when someone's telling you something, listen to that thought. That's the right thought. I always tell people that.
We'd have heard that a lot.
Yeah.
Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut, and a lot of
listen
times
to that gut, because that's
your gut tells you right a lot of times, but
that's the truth.
A lot of us we turn blind eye thinking
that's the truth.
That's not what it is, or we try to be not so judgmental and try to give people a chance, but a lot of times that's where we fuck up here. We give people a chance, and it just crazy shit, because just like somebody said in the chat room, they was whoever this person was, they were grooming you to do whatever they did to you. And the saddest part about this is when the kids do up and talk, a lot of parents don't even listen to them. They think they lying. And don't let it be with somebody. If they in a couple with somebody, they really love their man or their woman, whoever did it, they gonna swear it down. You making us stuff because you don't want to see them happy. But the whole time, the whole time,
it wasn't this from the shop, y'all. It wasn't my mama. It wasn't my mama boyfriend. So, Mr. Chris, I live in Detroit, east side of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting off the bus from work.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend usually would come with me. We usually be together, but she didn't go that day.
Mm-hmm.
But something was like telling me, don't go either.
Mm-hmm.
But I got on up and I went anyway. I'm getting off of 7 Mile and Grass. It's a McDonald's, Church's Chicken, and everything. So I'm walking up the street, Mr. Chris. It's crazy. You could hear a pin drop on the street. A pin drop.
Mm-hmm.
It's a man behind me, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I said, he up to no good. I said, he up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
Some said, just stop. Let him go. Get in the street. Get in the street. Walk in the street and let him go on past you.
Mm-hmm.
That man grabbed me, put a knife to me. I'm raped again. And whoever say I'm a lie, I'm looking for pity.
No. Don't do that. Keep on with your story, dear. Don't worry about the chat room. Let me in the chat room. Don't just keep telling your story.
Okay, so I'm raped again. My innocence took it from me again. So
take your time.
He walked me past my grandmama's house. He walked me past this month, walked me past my grandmama's house. But I said, if I put up a fight with him, he might kill me. He might win. So I just prayed to God and did what the man told me to do. After that, he raped me. He gave me a venereal disease. Thank God it was something I could get rid of. My mama and my uncle come down there to the hospital. I go home. I go on with my life. I finally wind up having kids. Wind up having 3 kids. Mm-hmm. They 5 years apart. Mm-hmm. I couldn't have no more children because I was messed up. I had all my children by C-section cut straight down. I'm 35 years old. I didn't feel good this day. I went to the hospital and my husband just kept looking at me. He kept looking at me. He said, be careful. I go on Gratiot, on the east side of Gratiot in Detroit, Michigan. My brother worked at this fish place. Usually we was talking about a little money, but usually he would walk me out to my car, to my truck. This particular day, he didn't walk me out. A man jumped in with me. I'm like, what the hell you want you want? Get out. He said, B, give me the truck. I said, I ain't giving you like that. He said, give it to me now. And I'm like, he pulled out the gun. I went on and gave him the keys. But the real money down in my boot, this happened January 21st, 2015, 2:02 in the afternoon. It's on Channel 7 local news. People can pull it up if they like to. Okay. So I'm like, money in my boot. But my son played football. My baby ID in there, my ID in there, where I live at in there. I wasn't worried about the money. So I'm screaming and hollering. And I don't know, it must have been through the grace of God, I'm here. We got this tussling. And my brother like, that's my sister. I mean, Mr. Chris, people walking past, they didn't get on their phone, say I dialed 911. They dialed 9. They didn't say, I'm going to dial 911 for this woman. Enough. They walked past like they didn't see nothing. Nothing. Do you hear me? My brother came out of there. Him and the people they work for, they had God. He got the van. He got the truck, but he didn't get my purse in my life. And I told my mama what happened. My mama said, don't you ever in your life, you get them what they want. But I got in a real depressed mode when I came in the house. My baby that played football, the big son, big tall. You can see the tears in his eyes. But my other one was standing in the corner. They just grabbed me and hugged me. It made me feel so good. They grabbed me and they holding me. And I asked my mama and I asked God. But my grandmama always told me, don't question God about nothing that happened. You're not supposed to do that. But I was like, why everybody that do something to me get away with it? I could understand that. So
you do understand why your mom told you
my grandmama.
Yeah, who told you that. You do understand why they told you that, right? You know, your life, you only get one life. You know, she would tell you only got one life, so they ask you for it, give it to them. You know, I know a lot of people like to fight. And it sounded like to me, what made you fight, you thought about your son and everything else. You thought about them. You was going to fight for them. And you was going to put
I
your
didn't
life
want him to come in my house.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm just thinking like, he come in my house, he could do anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
But
you was thinking about your children, but they did right there. Your grandma or your mother whoever told her, they actually told you right. You know, I mean, somebody do that, man. Just give it to them. It ain't worth your life because a lot of this stuff you can't get back. I understand you thinking about your, I guess money being missing. You know, rent coming up, stuff like that. People do think about that.
Not the rent, no, Mr. Chris.
No, I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general. You know, if your money gets stolen, you're gonna be like, damn. You know, all my stuff is up in there. All this stuff is gone. I know you think about that, but again. Like I said, my shows a lot of times, we only got one life. So that's why they told you that. And they actually told you right, you know. But I understand your instincts kicked in. You thought about your children, and you really fought for your children. You fought for your children. But that's why she told you that, though. So she didn't tell you wrong. I agree with what she said, but go ahead.
And so after that, I was real depressed. Mm-hmm. And depression is real. Depression where you get up and you about 2 or 3 or 4, you getting ready for bed again. It's just bad. So, like April 27th, we found a card in the door. We had moved from one house to another one. We found a card in the door. It say, it was a detective. His name was Detective Farrell. Mm-hmm. He was, and so my husband was like, well, I said, I don't know. It said my name on there though. And I said, I don't know what they looking for me for. This was, I called them people back May the 3rd, 2015. I said, he said, may I speak to Miss Ali? I said, this is she. He said, we caught the person that assaulted you. I said, oh my God, you caught the carjacker. He said, carjacker? He said, we caught the person November 18, 1995 that assaulted you.
Oh, wow.
I said, the rape. I knew he was talking about the rape when I was 18, coming home from work. In Michigan, it was a bunch of rape kits. Thousands and thousands of rape kits they just threw away. Mm-hmm. And they didn't care. 80 to 85% was African American people. Even men was getting sexually assaulted. Gay men was getting sexually assaulted. and they just threw them all away in this warehouse. Somebody came across them and was like, we got to get these tested. What is we doing? We can't do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they contacted me. And they said we found the man that they found the man that raped me when I was 18. They said, he in jail. He finna get out. He's a habitual offender.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, on top of that, he was robbing the women and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I thought about it. They said, you and another lady got a DNA hit. And I was like, well, I asked him, how did he live his life and what type of person he was? And they said, Miss Ali, I'm sure that if he get out, he's going to do it again. He had a bad track record.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Marshall Allen White.
Okay.
And I went to court August 15th, 2015. Now, mind you, this is the year the carjacking didn't happen. The year, about the rape and everything. So we went to court. And I see why some women don't want to go back to it and live it again. It's terrible. They gave him 15 to 30 years for my rape.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told my sister, the sister that was the one that they ought to got her kids.
Mm-hmm.
Me and her is real close.
Mm-hmm.
I said, they want to find the person that did that to me when I was 8. I said, they want to find them, Diamond. So, Diamond said, I told you. Who did that to us, sis? She said, I don't know why you don't want to believe. I said, no, it couldn't be him, Diamond. So, mind you, my mama had 4 brothers. And my grandmama had my maternal grandmother, my mother's mother. She had 6 kids. 4 was boys and 2 was girls, which was my mom and my auntie. Okay. So my mama, my grandmama's siblings stayed in other cities and states. So we can't account for no first cousins because they stayed in Chicago, New York, and Alabama. So we can't use them. I'm looking at my 4 uncles, okay? One of the uncles didn't do it because they was in prison. Then there's 2 twin uncles, okay? Then we know the baby uncle didn't do it because he's 3 years older than me. Okay. So it's between the 2 twins that took me out the house and did that to me. But I know them apart. And I know which one did. So Diamond said, Ann, think about it. she said, it was 3 girls in the house and a boy. If a real rapist did that, and he wouldn't have cared where he did it at. He would have raped us right in that house, and she said, and only the person, they didn't know if mama was coming back. It was gonna pull up at any given time. She was like, and they would sit up there and rape me, you, and my other sister. If in that right there in that house, why would they take me out the house, sit me on the porch 4 blocks away, and I wasn't touched? They wanted you all the time, and they say I did not get, my baby sister wasn't touched at all. She wasn't sexually assaulted or nothing. It was just me. But she say, what, see, Mr. Chris, and I had to look at it for what it's worth. I had to look at it for what it was worth. I believe when they came in that house, now think about it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If they pick me up and take me out, and my little sister sitting on the bed, she cries for me. There go the other 2 siblings waking up, looking for me. They looking for me now because the next thing they know is me is the closest thing to them as being mom. They looking for me. So I believe my sister was sitting up, woke on the bed, and the person that did it was like, oh, dang. So by her knowing them, my little sister knowing them, and done seen them before, she know who they is. They take her out and sit her 4 blocks away. What real stranger gonna do that, y'all? He ain't gonna care. So the reason why he takes me out the house and rape me in a dark alley, try to strangle me. I don't know if it was to scare me. Oh God. I don't know if it was to scare me. But why sit up there and take me out the house and rape me? Because no, when you sticking your big penis in me, you know I'ma cry and I'ma scream, and there go my sisters and brothers waking up. But maybe it's a good thing he did take me out the house, because my mama would have 4 more children deceased. And so I called a detective about that one. You know what they tell me?
What they tell you?
They didn't take nothing into evidence, no gun, no nothing. He told me, but why you telling me?
I can't hear you. He told you what now? I can't hear you. He told you what?
Why come even come to this story?
I still can't hear you, dear.
Wait a minute. I'm still trying to turn on my phone. Can you hear me now?
I can now. Yeah. You say they told you what now?
Yeah, but why even come to this story? He told me like this. He said, I don't know what to say. We lost it.
They lost the rape. They lost the rape kit. The rape kit. They lost.
They lost the rape kit when I was 8. I said, what? He said, well, I don't know what to say, Miss Heidi. We lost it. I said, you lost the rape kit? He was like, well, it ain't like they would have got time for it. I said, I don't care what they got. I deserve to know who did this to me. Especially when I think it's somebody close to me that did this to me. I mean, the way he said it was like, oh, well, get over it. But y'all knocked on my door, opening up a wound and pouring some salt on it.
So now they come back later. They got the test and identify who did it.
No, they identified one of the men, Mr. Chris.
Oh, they identified one of them.
The one when I was 18.
Oh, but when you're 8 years old, you still don't know. You still don't know who did it.
Yeah, and that's the one that did the most. I mean, that damaged me. And not saying that, I mean, at least in which I don't get respect for neither one of them. But at least this man ain't he raping grown women. You go and rape an 8-year-old child.
Sadly to say, it's all over the place. That's why I've been doing this for 4 years. You know, these men look at children, you know, and I always ask the question, you know, what making grown men look at a child? And I get the same answer every time because they know they're vulnerable and they defenseless. And so that's what they did to you. They feel like you was vulnerable and you were defenseless. So he took advantage of you.
No, he took advantage. He took advantage of his niece.
Yeah, that too. That's what I'm saying. Him being a grown man.
And you know what?
Young,
I hope y'all shared it. I hope they shared the message. Michigan done stood up and did these women wrong. And I feel like we was did wrong because we was African American women. I don't care what you do. You don't deserve this. And then they want to knock on your door years later because somebody discovered them and tell them they got to do something. Ms. Worthy said it. I met Kim Worthy, the prosecuting attorney of Michigan. They told her, just leave it alone. Leave them alone. Why is you even going through it? She said that was a slap in the face, her, that she was sexually assaulted.
Wow.
But I hope a lawyer see this, or somebody. At least we could get a class action lawsuit or anything, because these women deserve to be compensated for this. And you know what, Mr. Chris? Everything is not always about money. But if I could sue them, and I know my kids straight in life, Mr. Chris, it'd be worth it to me. Because all of it go to my kids. I live for my kids. It's sad to say, we all going to die one day, Mr. Chris. And it's sad to say, and it's sad to feel like this. If I didn't have no kids, I wouldn't even care. It's like I'm just existing for my kids. And it's sad to feel like that. But that's how I feel.
Well, again, I want everybody to understand, I'm not a counselor or anything, so, only thing I'm doing is really just letting y'all vent, and we got people in the audience that's pretty much speaking their mind about the system.
Mr. Chris, they didn't give us no counseling. They didn't offer nothing to these women.
Nothing.
Okay. I was in Elle magazine, edition June 2015 or July, y'all. I really came to like 4 years ago. You got my name, Mr. Chris. You can Google up.
I did Google your name, but however, I didn't find the magazine you was talking about, but I did Google your name, and everything you telling me, it checked out, so I did do that, but I haven't had a chance to go read everything, so just bear with me, and again, just bear with me, and I'll try to go check out everything I possibly can, and I may need to bring you back to do a part two to tell some more of your story there. But my heart goes out to you. As a matter of fact, my heart goes out to all of you, even the two fathers who came up, which I'm very grateful that fathers coming up here speaking out, because they go through it too. And I appreciate all of y'all coming up here sharing your stories. I'm humbled that I was able to open my platform to y'all to do so. And I'm humbled that y'all was willing to come up here and share your story, whatever it even meant for you to cry and everything. And I got a wonderful audience. I've been looking at the audience time and time again while y'all share y'all stories. And this is crazy. And for people who have family members who went through the same thing that y'all going through, that shows you that the system it needs to be reformed. It needs to be reformed. So, dear, I thank you. I thank Mr. Jerry. I thank Eric. I thank Miss Meadows. I thank every last one of you who came up here and shared y'all stories. And we need to do this again to help get y'all stories out. And you never know who may be listening. Somebody may come in and say, hey, Chris, give me that person's email. I got some resources they can check out. And if they do, I'll be more than happy to get them y'all email. But for right now, dear, I'll let you close us out. Let somebody else pop up. But what's the last thing you want to say before we get on out of here? Your phone going out. I can hear you. Your phone going out.
Okay, God bless everyone. And I know we've been through an uprising, a pandemic. A lot of stuff has happened this year. I hope everything get better for everybody. And I pray for the world. I pray for everybody. And I pray for the world to get better, y'all. But, I mean, it's people that make it through worse things than I've been through.
Gotcha.
And stuff might not look like it's a brighter side to it, but it's always a brighter side. It might not be as big as you want, but everybody got a story.
Oh yeah.
Some just worse than others.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Everybody has a story. And that's why I like what they person said in the chat earlier, we can't really speak on a lot of stuff unless we was in that person's shoes. And I agree with that. I can't speak on nothing that none of y'all speak on because I never been in y'all shoes. So I don't know what it's like. I don't. But in that dear, thank you so much for sharing your story. And if I get a chance to do a part two, I'll be more than happy to let you come back on and share some more story. All right. You take care, baby. You take care.
Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. I'm glad and I'm humble that you even had me to do this because I reached out to other YouTubers and they didn't give me a chance. But I just want Michigan to be exposed for the type of things they are doing to these foster children, to these women. Michigan do a lot of things they have no business. And I just glad to have enough courtesy to have you speak out of your life.
Not a problem. Not a problem, dear. Not a problem. Well, you try to enjoy the rest of your night, dear, and we'll talk again soon.
Yep.
All
you
right.
too, sir. Thank you all so much.
No problem.
Everybody have a good night.
You too, dear. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Man. Well, how about that? A lot of people go through it. We just don't know. A lot of people go through it, and that's why a lot of time I stress about us being judging everybody. A lot of people just go through things, and we don't know what they go through, and we can hear these stories. And again, ridiculous as probably a lot of them sound, we just don't know unless it's us in that pandemic. These men and these women have opened up their hearts to come on my platform and spoke on what they went through. And I'm sure it wasn't easy for them to come do that. It probably wasn't easy at all. But the fact that they want to share their story and they trusted my platform to do it. I feel good right now, even though my allergies is fucking with me bad right now. But I feel good that I went through with this show and let people speak. Amen. And for those of you who are new following me, this is what you get when you come over here. Real stories, real shit. Sometimes we shoot the shit, but at the same time, it's real. I got somebody emailing me now their story. Somebody emailing me right now as we speak. They emailing me their story. I think I had a couple of people that's watching it right now and done send me messages through Facebook. Because they watching this show right here. So while a lot of us is judging Mama Dean, which is the boy's mother, I get it. I get what you're saying. But listen to these stories, even from the men. It's easy to judge her and attack her because we're not in her shoes. Now, that doesn't negate the thing that she did to get her children to take it away. Now, I mean, that's her fault. If what they saying, a lot of stuff is true, that's her fault. But other than that, though, what can we really say if we don't have the actual true story to say what Mama Dean did to lose her children? What can we say? That's why I said earlier, only she know how she lost her children. Her dad, seemed like he just got drugged up in there. He just hit him out the blue, so he really don't know what's going on other than at the last minute, they did a 360 and the children ended up with the West. But I say this though, regardless of how people lose their children, whether they fucked up or not, they not the one who killed these children or was irresponsible. The West had these boys in their care. They was irresponsible for losing a child out in the open like that. And I guess that's fair to say that whatever she did, her part as to losing them to the DCFS, but they were still alive. They were still healthy. Healthy. Before they got with, according to them, they were still alive and healthy when they got with the West. Now they got with the West. Now the West don't know where these children are. And I do find that strange. You got 4 of them that know where they at. But just ironically, Sincere and Classic, they gone. You don't know where they at. I find it kind of odd. But you know where everybody else at. I find it too odd. And whatever y'all did, y'all playing y'all hand real tight because ain't nothing happened to y'all yet. But that's okay. That's okay. We just got to sit back and let the law enforcement do what they're going to do. And if the West did do it, it's going to come out that they did. But people still got an open mind saying that they don't think they did. What if they didn't do anything? I kind of got an open mind like that too. It could be a small possibility that they didn't do anything. They probably is dumbfounded about what happened. But that's a small chance. Very small. Because everything just don't add up. From you talk about bringing in wood and all this shit just don't add up. You got cameras on the house, it just don't add up. It don't. So yeah. So until we walk in these people's shoes, we could throw stick and stones. But we would never know unless we walk in that same path that they walked in. And I will end the show with that. And again, much love to the fathers who came on the show. I'm really appreciative of that. The fathers who came on the show. And I would like for more men to speak out. If they've been through this, I would like for more men to speak out. All right? All right. I'm your man, Chris Thorns. Thank y'all for joining. I'm finna go dope myself up with some medicine. And hopefully I catch whatever's going on. Hopefully I catch it early. And I'll be all right in the next couple of days. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, CLM, Children Lives Matter. I'm your man, Chris